Good morning, friends. Oh my goodness, I tell you what, yesterday was 65 degrees and you didn't even have to have a jacket on. It was such a nice day. Today the wind is out of the north and look at the birds. Look at their feathers. I mean, they're not liking this too much, but they just got out and they just got their scratch, so it's not going to take long for them to get this eaten and get back in the house. I can tell you that right now. But this is normal for Oklahoma. One day it might be 80 degrees and the next day it might be 20. It just, all of us, we're right in smack dab in the middle of two weather systems, one out of the north and one out of the south, and rather than getting snow, we get ice, you know? We don't get rain, we don't get sleet, we get ice. And, well, first, and then, of course, it hits us, but it has to be pretty much already icy before we ever get the snow. So I tell you what, my hopium was up yesterday. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be spring, and I knew in my bones that it wasn't. And you know, we're still in the deep part of winter. This is February, middle of February. We still got the rest of February and March to go. Then we'll probably have a little bit more reason for hopium. But let me tell you something, I'm so excited. I have been working very, very hard on trying to get 500 subscribers, and I was really hoping to know who the 500th one was. But last night I went to bed and I had 498, and I thought, wonder if it's going to happen while I'm asleep. Well, this morning I get up and sure enough, I've got 501, and I don't even know who that 500th one was, but whoever it was, thank you so much. Now I have set a new goal, and that's 750. My actual real goal, well, not long-term goal, but short-term goal is 1,000, because I want to get monetized if I can, so I can help these girls have much better life. I want to have more fencing so that they can have all of this. This is going to be thick, deep, lush green grass and weeds, mainly weeds, on the other side of the fence. And I would really like to have more fencing, you know, to start off with, so that they can have more room to get out and actually free range more. I can't allow them to free range 100% because of where I live, and that's the way it is for backyard gardeners. We don't have the what would you say, it's not really necessarily the room, but we don't have the freedom, that's what it is, to allow our chickens out, because I have a road in front of my house and there's hay trucks that go by. They can't stop. There's grain trucks that go by. There's a lot of things. I even live on a dead-end road, but that doesn't even make any difference, because when you have vehicles going by at a fairly fast rate of speed in there, and well, not even at 35, even if it's 35, they still can't stop on a dime when a chicken runs out right in front of them. You know, and that's what they do. They dart out right in front of anything. And so it looks like we're already at the water hole, and where I was yesterday, sitting in this chair with no jacket on and just some light shoes, there is a little bit of ice on the top of this chair. I don't know if you can see it or not. So that's the way life is here in Oklahoma, and I love it. You know, I love Oklahoma. I love where I live. It's just sometimes it's a challenge. It's a big challenge. So I had a couple of questions, well, a few questions, not just a couple, a few questions that I'm going to address today, and I'm going to go inside and do it where it's just a little bit warmer, and put it up on my computer and just answer them there. But first, I came in to check on everybody and see how they're doing. It looks like Hazel's cold. She's got her beak nestled in underneath her feathers, and I wonder if that's keeping her warmer so that she can keep those eggs warmer. I know she's tucked down deep into that box with the straw and the feathers in it. Looks like she's been pulling some more of her down out so that she can I got Hawk cleaning me up again this morning. That's her job, you know. When Miss Jenny's out here, she'll jump on top of Miss Jenny. Well, if Miss Jenny will let her. Miss Jenny don't usually let her anymore. But looky here, they've already knocked over that bucket of water. And they've already knocked over that bucket of water. I don't know. I don't understand them. I don't know what they're thinking, because they're just hurting themselves. It's not anybody else. It's probably those roosters fighting. It's probably what it is before I open the door. Because they'll chase each other all around and try to prove who's dominant. And that's not anything that you can do anything about. That's just roosters. He's trying to tell Josephine what to do. Boy, that would be a combination, wouldn't it? Black and white. Black and white babies. It looks like the bunnies are hungry, and they say, "Mama, can you give us something to eat?" Let's look in there, see if we can see their bowl. You know, they're sitting in their bowl, but they're eating hay and straw that they have. So, and they still have a little bit of water. See, the chickens got plenty to eat. They just have destroyed their water. And I really can't hang many things from the rafters, because when they're up there, they're pooping. So you hang anything like these right here. This is just a shelf. So I can hang things there. But even then, if I hang things there, and then I've got my my lights up there, so that even, you know, tends to make some of it to where it doesn't work out for them. I could do it right here, but I've got nest boxes there for right now, and that works out for some of them. You got to watch out where you put everything, because anything underneath the rafters is going to get pooped on. You got rafters over here. We got rafters everywhere, and I had to put netting above the rabbits, or they would be getting up there and pooping in their food and water. So it's a challenge, you know. It's a fun challenge, but it's a challenge. It looks like everybody's doing fine in here. They've got water outside. They can go outside and get water. That's not a big deal. I just give it to them so that the ones that think that they're homebound can have water right in here. But I'm thinking that if I was to go ahead and take the water out and make them drink water outside, it would make them get up and move more. So I might just do that and just take the water out up here. I know in the summertime I had been putting the feed outside and hanging it on the overhang where I have right here. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Now you can see there's still a rope there. I was hanging their food right there, but then I took it in because of bird flu. I thought, you know, if there's birds out there eating out of that and they have any kind of germs on them, I don't think that's going to be healthy for my chickens. So I took all of that and brought it in the house so that they could have more cleaner quarters, you know, so that you didn't have so many different things eating out of the feeders. I didn't have squirrels or anything coming out to eat them, but the birds did. There's Kazoo. Good morning, Kazoo. How are you today? Hasn't started acting like a boy yet. Hasn't started jumping the females like his brother, and hasn't started crowing or anything, doing his little crow. But his feathers on his neck and his saddle feathers look like a boy, in the way that his tail feathers are going over, kind of like this one. See, the female's tail feathers go straight up. They don't go over like that. They're not longer to where they go over. So I'm still thinking it's a boy. So far the comb looks like a girl so far, but I think maybe that's why he's talking all the time. He's not real sure what he is yet. Maybe he's gender neutral. I don't know. Never can tell. Oh my goodness, that north wind is cold. And there's still some girls out. Some of them just really don't care. They just want to be outside and away from all of the people inside. Well, chicken people. But look at all this. Look at all this dirt. I keep thinking that I'm going to come out here and till it so that I can pull out all of this grass and weeds and stuff. That makes it so much easier. But I can actually walk on it. And if I was to till it, I wouldn't be able to walk on it anymore because it would just, I would sink down into where the clay is. Top is gumbo, and underneath the gumbo is clay. So when it gets wet, it just sits there. So I'm going to go ahead and wait until the monsoon season is over, and then I'll go ahead and till it then. So I'm back in the house, and I'm trying to figure out a way how to do this on my cell phone. I am so sorry, you guys. You have asked me not to do certain things too long or too big or whatever, but I'm on my cell phone. I do every bit of this on my cell phone, and I'm not really the best software person. My son is, but he lives in Colorado. He's a software engineer, but he's really busy all the time, and I can't bother him with little questions that I could probably figure out for myself. It'll just take me longer. But so I've got 502 subscribers now, and I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. So I tried to answer some of the questions, and I don't know, my computer did something stupid and it just went away, and then it wanted to update and all kinds of things. So I'm just going to do it this way. I had a viewer ask me if I sell my eggs. Yes, I do. I only sell them to people who live close and are, what's the word? Let's see. Are wanting to buy eggs and actually needing them, I guess you could say. I don't like holding them long, because when you do, they just, they get old and stale and whatever. And I like moving my eggs and having fresh eggs all the time. So if someone's not really that interested in coming and picking them up, then I don't respond well to them when they tell me they want eggs, because I have a lot of people on my waiting list. I think right now I've got 37 people on my waiting list. I've stopped taking on new customers. I have stopped allowing them to have how many they want, because some of them wanted, 6, 8 dozen, and that takes a long time. So if my hens are only laying 2 dozen eggs a day, that means that most of that week is just spent for one customer, and then all the other customers don't get anything. And some of my customers are diabetics, and they need the eggs for their diet, and like my eggs, and like eggs that are not from the grocery store. So therefore, I don't even eat my own eggs, because I can't fill my orders for people who actually really want them to. So I don't even hardly eat. I used to, but I don't anymore. And so I do sell my eggs. I don't make anything on them. I sell them for $5 a dozen. But my hens, being in the fence that they're in, I have to feed them processed food from the mill. I don't feed them anything Purina. I don't feed them anything from Tractor Supply. I don't feed them anything that's big market. I feed them local milled feed, and it happens to be good feed for them, and they do well. So that's what I'll continue to do. But they go through a 50-pound bag of feed every other day, and that's expensive. And so I want more fencing so that I can let them out on this grass that I have to continually mow. I have to mow. If I don't mow about every 3 days when it comes the monsoons, and a lot of times during the summer too, because having gumbo on top and clay on the bottom, and being in the river bottom, water sits here pretty bad, and so I have to really do a lot of mowing whenever other people are in a drought. My grass is profuse. So I would really like to use that, but I can't because, like I said, on my road, there's hay trucks going by and they get, it breaks my heart to go out there and see one of my chickens flat in the road. It's just horrible. So they have to be in a fence, and they actually like being in a fence. When I fenced them in, they were excited because, you could just tell. They felt like they were, all of a sudden, they had their own place, and they were protected. And I had the best feeling about it. And some people say, well, you can't say your hens are pasture raised. No, I can't. But my hens are also not predators. Not preyed upon by predators as much as they would be if they were outside of the fence or not have a fence, because I've done both. I've watched hawks come down and grab one of my chickens and just go off with it, and there was not a thing I could do. So I'm just hoping that I can upgrade their area back there and make it larger so that they can actually have more grass, because they will just eat grass down to the dirt as soon as it grows if you leave them in a confined space. That's just how it is. That's what they do. They eat all day long. You could feed them just tons and tons of food, and 5 minutes later go out there and they are running to see what else you got. And that's just what they are. They just eat and eat and eat. They process food. That's what I call them, little food processors. Okay, do I rotate my flock, and do I process any? I do not process. I do not I do rotate, but not like that. I allow my hens and my roosters to live here as long as they want to, as long as they're nice. Now, if they get to where they're ugly and they think they have to kill chickens or hens or each other, they're gone. I figure out who's the culprit, and they will be dog food. I don't eat roosters. And my hens are welcome as long as they want to live here. That means that you have to feed them. That means that a lot of times they don't lay eggs, but they do still eat bugs, and they still fertilize my garden and whatever else that I need them to do. They're little weed eaters and that type of thing, and they still do that. So they get to live here. I don't eat them. I had a question. The egg that I threw out, was the egg thin? Yes. Some of my older girls who have laid a bunch of eggs, they don't get out so much and get the sand and the gravel that they need in order to be able to process their calcium in their body and make it for their eggs. So I do give them stuff in the barn, but they don't really like eating it. So there's not really a whole lot you can do with those eggs. And I was also asked about my little crippled one. When I bought her, she was one of, I don't know, I think I bought about 15, 20 that time, maybe even more. And she was one of those. And whenever I put them out with the big chickens, I'll let them grow out a couple of months before I put them in with the big ones. I'll put them in one of those little pens like where the rabbits are, and I'll put them out with the big chickens after they've gotten accustomed to each other. At least they got that little seed planted. So then I'll let them out. Well, what happened was the rooster got on top of her and broke her leg. And there wasn't a thing I could do about it because it had already happened. I put her by herself, and I tried to rub her leg and rub her bone back in, but I could not get it to do that, and I did not want to hurt her. So unfortunately, she's had to live that way her whole life, and she has made a good life for herself. Her eggs do not. She lays eggs, but she's one of the ones who does not have very strong shells. So I just know that whenever she goes into a nest box, the others are going to follow her and wait for her to be done. And as soon as she gets out of the nest, they're going to go in there and eat that egg because they can peck. They know it, and they can peck it, and they make a mess in there. So that's just, that's just life. That's just how it goes. And okay, the next question. Do I have, let's see if I can get that back. Do I have ceramic eggs? Yes, they roll them out of the nest. Those are nest eggs, and I've had snakes come in and eat those. And I don't like snakes, but I also don't like snakes taking off with my nest egg either. They're expensive, and it'll kill them. And I just don't think that there's really necessarily a reason to put a nest egg in a nest when they're not going to use it anyway. They're going to use whatever, because that's nest eggs are more for chickens who don't know what to do when you first get them. They're like right at 5 months and you start seeing eggs on the ground or wherever, here or there. Well, then you put a nest egg in the box and they know that that's where they're supposed to go. And that's really the only reason you use a nest egg. Let's see. Do I sell my hens? I do not. Have I sold any chicks yet? I have not. The reason is we have a little, I think they call it a swap meet, where they take their animals. It's on the south side of our Tractor Supply. It's outside in the parking lot. And one Saturday a month, they meet and they bring their chickens and their eggs and their rabbits and their whatever they have that's small enough to be able to travel in a car. Not lambs or goats or anything like that, unless they're really tiny. And that I have noticed that doing that, I see what sells and what doesn't sell, and I hear what people want. And people are like, well, do you have any of this breed, or do you have any of that breed? I won't have any of that, because mine will be whatever the roosters and the hens, whichever ones get together, and whichever eggs I choose the roundest egg, because I have learned that, or I've been told that the pointy eggs are males. I don't think that's really the truth, because I was watching a video the other day, and it was one of the chick producers, like Hoover's Hatchery, I think is who it was. And they said that more often than not, the way that you can get hens instead of roosters is to up the temperature in the breeder, whatever you call it, incubator. Roosters cannot tolerate a higher temperature, and hens cannot tolerate a lower temperature. So therefore, if you put the eggs in an incubator at 101 degrees, you'll get more chickens hatch out, or more hens hatch out. If you put it at 99 degrees, you'll get more roosters hatch out. And it's not that you're killing them; they just won't make. The eggs will just sit there and rot, basically. But because they won't have anything growing inside of it. So that's how that works. And my son has my incubator at this time. So he was going to bring it to me the other day, and something happened. Everything, goes crazy whenever you have something on your mind. And so he had a couple of things happen, and he totally forgot. So I didn't get my my incubator back yet, but I will, and I will probably start selling them. Now, I am not going to sell any of my animals to anyone who doesn't live close enough to come get them. I am not going to trust the mail system to keep them alive. I can't tell you how horrible it is to order baby chicks and have them come and half of them be laying dead in the box. I cannot tolerate that. That's why I go to Hoover's Hatchery. They put a little gel in there for them to eat, and they put little heaters in there when it's cold. That will stay in there for a couple of days, for their travel. And I have never had a dead one. So that's my thing. That's my theory. If you can't come and get the eggs, or if you can't come and get the rooster or the baby chicks, I'm not mailing them. I'm not set up for that, and I'm not big enough. I'm a very, very small farmer. So the last thing I want to talk about is my reason for doing this. How can I do this without going into everything? Basically, let me just put it lightly. Having a very, very strong work ethic for a very long time, and being from the background that I'm from, it was hard for me to be able to watch people, and basically it was peers, not do their job, not get in trouble for it. And it seemed like they were the ones that always got promoted instead of the ones like me who actually did the work. Well, I spent a lot of my time frustrated. And I've noticed that the last 2 or 3 years of my career, when I was at work, I was stressed out. When I got home, I was stressed out. But I would go out to my chicken yard and I wouldn't stress anymore. And so I stopped watching regular TV, I don't know, it was when I came back from, I moved back home in 2015. So it's been since 2015 since I've watched mainstream TV. I only watch YouTube videos. That's it. That's all I watch. Because I can pick and choose when and where and what I watch. And I don't have to have programming that is just stupid to me. So that's what I do. And with that, I noticed that whenever I would come home and I would watch something like My Self-Reliance. Oh, I love that guy. He's from Canada, and he builds hugelkultur gardens, and he built a greenhouse, and he's built 2 different cabins by hand. I had just the most calm feeling and relaxed, and I just felt so good just watching it that I went back and watched every single video that he had, and it made me feel good. And I created this channel in 2012 and did absolutely nothing with it. I went ahead and decided, I guess I thought. I decided in March. I retired in April. I decided, okay, I've got to do something. What am I going to do? Because I came home, retired, just to manage my chickens, and that's it. Well, finally in August, I decided, okay, I need to sell my eggs. And so if I'm going to sell my eggs to people around here, I want them to know how my chickens are raised, how I manage them, what they eat, where they are, what they do. How can I do that? So I started making videos and posting them on my Facebook page, but it was the quality was really horrible. I mean, it was just horrible. And so I thought, YouTube videos aren't that horrible. I've already got a channel. How about if I do that? So I started making YouTube videos and posting them on my farm page. I mean, on my farm page. And then I got a few more, but then I posted it on my community page and said, help. I had 40 dozen eggs in my refrigerator, and I had nobody that wanted them that I knew, So I went ahead and put my YouTube video on my community page and told them, help, I have eggs and I really need to sell them. And all of a sudden, my channel boomed, my eggs. I've got so many customers. I got way more customers than I have eggs now. So that's basically how I got started and why I did it. I didn't do it for fame. I don't do it for fortune. I don't want my face on the video. It's not about me. It's about my chickens, and it's about how you can raise chickens. I've got 2.5 acres. I don't even use all of it. I want to be able to use all of it. But that's something that's going to have to be built upon. I didn't have any of this when I moved here in 2015. I had my chickens from where I lived before, and I brought them home with me. and had no place to put them except for in my shop where all my other stuff was, and they pooped on everything and just ruined everything. So it's been a build. It's been me learning how to do everything by hand. Little by little, I have helped so many people do so many things in my life because I'm a helper. I'm a worker, and it makes me happy to please people. So I didn't realize it, but all of the things that I helped people with helped me learn all of the things that I'm doing right now. I've built fences. I've built nest boxes. I've built rabbit hutches. I've built, I've built a wall. I built 2 walls, built a door. I've built a lot of stuff, and I'm a 68-year-old grandma. And I know that if I can do it, anybody can do it. All it takes is to learn how to get your head in order. If you get your head in order, and I worked 3 jobs. I worked my farm, I worked my regular job, and I had another job part-time to be able to afford some of this. And if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. You just start small. All you can do is put one foot in front of the other and do what you can that day. And you have in your head how you know you want it to be when you're finished. Well, the bad thing is as you're going, your goals get higher and higher, and it's harder to reach. It's like my 500 goal for subscribers for my YouTube channel. It's like I reached it, and I'm so excited, and now I want 750. You see what I'm saying? So if you keep your goals attainable and you work very hard on them, then there's really nothing you can't do. There's really nothing you can't do. So with that, I'm going to let you go, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. And like, share, subscribe, comment, and if there's anything else you would like for me to talk about, just let me know.